What's up, everybody? Okay, so today's topic is belief. Belief. That's what today's topic is all about. You know, let me just toss in a little story about myself before I go into this topic. There was a time that I was facing should I say time? There was a dark time actually in my life. So I left Port Harcourt in search of greener pastures to I never really had a destination, but then Lagos was the state in my mind. You understand? So and you see where devil comes in when someone is doing there is a contrast when you're doing the right thing, but that right thing that you're doing, you're actually doing it at the wrong time. During this time, it was actually during the pandemic. So I went to Lagos looking for a job, helter skelter. Nothing actually came as so. I wanted to come back to PH, but I was asked to go back to Abuja instead of coming back to Port Harcourt. I should go to Abuja to stay with my other bro. So I went there because me myself, I never had any intentions of going to Abuja. So I went there. Um, before making all this movement, when I was in PH, I was still under my mother's roof. When you're living with your parents, you don't have much, you don't have any kind of like big responsibilities to yourself. You just freestyle and your parents will be providing everything for you. But when I left to Abuja, there's this thing that people actually think when they hear Abuja as the Federal Capital Territory. Abuja is a very big state. And inside of Abuja, they have the ghetto aspect of Abuja. They have where middle class people can also stay. Then they have where the rich and influential people stay. So, but me as a young boy going to Abuja, because I know that Abuja is the federal capital territory of Nigeria that I'm going to. So, the place will be very, very fine. Everything will be easy. Life there will be easy. There will be no more stress, more. But when I came there, I was unfortunate to find myself in the ghetto side of Abuja. And it was extremely hard because then that place wasn't even like Port Harcourt where you get to see, all this normal salary job, all those. So, everybody's there is handwork, handwork. You have to learn the handwork first. So, one thing in this life is that when you find yourself in any environment at all that you know that you're not used to this, the odds of you surviving is that you have to adapt. So I'm a kind of person that is good with adaptation. So I adapt immediately. So I went into learning mechanic. The thing is just like yesterday if I think of it. Because what I passed through there, like both the weather, the sun, the hotness of the sun that shines in Abuja and that of PH is not the same. Abuja sun is way more hotter. Like it's more hot. So all these things, when you move to a place where your body is not used to, your system is not used to, there are some kind of things that will change. So while I was learning this mechanic work and thinking of it then, the place that we were in, that there was no like shade. The only shade that was there, we don't used to do work under the shade. It's just after you do work, you can go under the shade and rest. The shade wasn't meant for parking of vehicles. Excuse me, while learning the mechanic work. So all these things, when we are doing the work now, the sun is like hammering on your head. Like, in fact, if you're a fair person and you go to these people that watch this video that is familiar with Abuja, know a place that is called Gudu Market, Gudu Mechanic Market, and Apu. When you go to these places, the kind sun. So me, I was positioned at that Gudu Market with my elder bro and my uncle, but I wasn't learning the work from my elder brother Sam because if I was, it would have been easier. But now I was learning it from my uncle's hands. That one wasn't a decision that was made by me. You understand? It was made by my other brother and one other guy and my mom as well. You know. But then it was extremely hard. So I was learning the work, but at some point in time, I get to discover that anytime I'm working under this sun, I used to feel dehydrated. And due to the fact that the work is a hard labor job, once I feel dehydrated, I go to drink water. But you know the funny part, when I drink this water, it's not even up to 30 minutes. I'll start vomiting. What am I vomiting? I'm not vomiting the food that I ate, though. It's the water. So this thing kept on and on and on and on for the 3 years that I was there. This thing kept happening 1 year, 2 years. So that this particular thing now, it now feels like it normally happens in a season because it's during December that that particular sun used to be very very hot. So now it was now a normal thing that every December, me, I normally used to fall sick. Sometimes even before December, once we start approaching the dry season, I would just start feeling sick. So all those things just kept happening and happening and happening and happening. Plus the kind of hard labor and hard treatment, or should I say maltreatment, I was going through my uncle's hand. When you're learning a job, they'll be giving you money to eat, but there's a difference where it is that the money you're supposed to use and eat, you use it to be buying drugs. It's very, very asinine. So this was what was actually happening to me. But that sickness was never the thing that actually bothered me. You understand? What was actually bothering me was my uncle. You know, when you are afraid of person to the extent that only the sound of his footstep, or maybe he has a specific car that is drive, only by the sound of his car self, your mind will just skip. That was what was happening to me then. Like the guy energy, his energy was too, how should I put it? His energy was too oppressing to me. That is my uncle. So I was explaining to my brother. He didn't understand because he passed through similar thing from his oga's hand, but it wasn't that similar because the problem is that his own oga wasn't giving him money to eat. You understand? His oga wasn't giving him money, but the oga wasn't maltreating him either. You understand? But my my own oga, he gives me money to eat, but he will like the money when he give you to use it, he go maltreat that money come off for your body. So you'll be left with nothing. You get so when I was playing to him, he was saying that I should endure this, that good thing. Everybody know that good thing doesn't come easy. So then at this process and at this point in my life, I was like I considered that time to be the lowest point because at some point in Abuja I was even suicidal, but I wasn't going to take my life, but I was praying that something should just happen one day that I should just fucking die. You understand? But there was a thing that actually changed at a point in time when I would just sit down alone in the night. I would just be hoping. There's this thing that normally happens in my mind. What that will be saying that how I wish I can just get a job with a company and just leave this Abuja. That particular thought was always running in my mind frequently, and it's anytime I'm alone. I will just be hoping and wishing that things get better. That I'm tired of this place, all these things. That I wish I can get in a job in a company, this, that. Do you know that fast forward to December 2022, that is 2022, December, I got a call from the guy that is dating my sister that there is a job in this their company. I will not mention the company's name for security purposes. So I came back because me, I was asking what kind of job. He said that the job they used to fix all these trackers and all this stuff. So me, I was feeling like I cannot do it, but due to the fact that that work involves vehicle as well, so it's kind of like an automobile work. In fact, it's automobile in fact because you have to make use of electrical wires in the vehicle, and you still even have to do all this manual work like jacking vehicle and all those kind of stuff. And sometimes you might even need to drive. So that job came. When that job came, I came back to PH. I got the job. I started like the process of that job coming. I felt like it wasn't my own power. That is why I said that today's topic is belief. Now, why did I decide to name today's topic belief is that we as human being, the realities that we are living was once a thought that we had in our mind. You might not you might not understand it, but if you normally used to read books, like I have a book here from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. There was one other one I also read as well, Success Through a Positive Mentality. All the books are here. So it was when I was going through this book that was introduced by me. It was introduced by one of my friends to me. So when I was going through this book, and I get to discover that okay, if this thing that this book is saying, which means that it was this thought that I had in my mind then in Abuja that actually gave rise to this reality of this job that I'm still working till now. So when I started putting everything together, I now discovered that okay, truly our thoughts in our mind most of the times can create our reality, especially when we've held these thoughts for a very, very long time in our mind. And anytime we face a bad situation, that thought always come up like, oh God, I'm always tired. I'm tired. I wish this thing can just go. Let me just get some. All those kind of things. When you're in a bad or severe position or situation, you start thinking that positive thoughts. Those times, those points in times are the times when those thoughts used to shape the reality gradually, gradually. Now, summarizing everything, what does this bring us to? Is that there's this thing that people normally used to say that is a law of attraction. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but I believe that that stuff is very, very real because it was after me, myself, I discovered okay, this thought that we have in our mind most of the times creates our reality. And we can actually create the kind of life we want via these thoughts. When I discovered this stuff, I said, okay, which means I can actually get things that is, beyond my reach in this level that I am now. So I started practicing it, you know, in this my job. There's a point in time they sent me to a specific job in Abakaliki. I've not done that kind of installation before, but the thing that was in my mind is that I will do this work and I will deliver it very, very well. Like I just had that belief. I've not done the job, that kind of installation before, but I just have that belief that I will do it very, very well and I will deliver the job. Even this thing, because they already gave me the information earlier that I'll be traveling so time. So once that information came, I knew that the job would be a hard job, but I've already position myself and my mindset. I've conditioned my mindset that this job I know is hard, but I will do it and I will do it very well. I will deliver the job very well. Fast forward to when I went to the job, things were really tough the first day. But what happened is that the second day, things became easy. You know, this thing that is called the law of attraction. When you start believing that you can actually do something, and putting out those positive frequencies into the universe. What the universe does is that it provides people, circumstances, and conditions that will make that your positive thoughts become a reality. You understand? So that very day I did that work finish. And I came back to Port Harcourt. I was like, I actually delivered this job. Oh. And everybody in the group were even clapping for me. So that thing now made me. The thing was scary, but is I feel like I'm getting to know it more. You understand? I'm getting to know it more. And the one funny thing is that people don't actually know about this stuff. You understand? People don't know about this stuff. Like they don't know it that deep. But the truth is that anything you're seeing in your life, be it negative or positive, it was a thought that you once had in your mind. It was a thought that you once had in your mind. So what me I'm actually suggesting is that wherever you are, whatever kind of situation you're in, it's normal to think negative. You understand? It's normal to think negative when things are not going well. But if you can just twist that thinking a little bit when you're in that bad situation, instead of saying, oh God, now here I will die, everything done. Instead of saying that, you can just twist a little bit, say that, okay, I know that things are very rough with me now, but things will be all right very soon. That thing you're doing, you're conditioning your subconscious mind. You're conditioning your subconscious mind to believe in something that is not real. And once you condition your subconscious mind to that kind of level, it takes in that command. And this thing that you're doing is not any form of voodoo or juju. This is this is this is this is a process that governs all the universal laws. It's the way the universe works. It's just like, because me sometimes I used to do it. There's something that I actually read in this book, that that which is withheld will diminish, but that which is given out will replenish. What does this simply mean is that if you're someone that has a tight hand, you don't like giving alms to the poor, or seeing someone in a bad situation, you don't you're in a position to actually help the person, but you're just being stingy. That money that you're being stingy about will eventually diminish. Now, I'm not talking this in out of cliche. I'm talking this in out of my own personal experience. You understand? All these things are like, you have to try it to actually understand what I'm saying. I've done these things, they've really worked for me in all aspect of life. But now, the thing is that in this law of attraction, there are levels to it. There are levels to it. Just the same way you can attract negative things into your life very, very fast if you just think negative. That same way you can attract positive things into your life. Now, if you want to like get a job, and you know that exact job that you want in any field, you don't have to say, okay, I want this position in this job. Just know the exact job that you want in a specific field, be it automobile, electrical, nursing, pharmacies, architectural, construction, manufacturing, business, anything. You just have to be thinking in alignment of, this thing is possible. I can get it. Even if when you've tried and tried and tried. There was one thing I also read in this book, 3 feet from good. 3 feet from good. That man in that book, he's from Oklahoma, Oklahoma in USC. So his job is to use this machinery that he produced to test in different soil in search of oil. So there was a job his company actually sent him on. When he went to that job, while doing all his research and checking everything at which, there was this state in the US that it was actually checking with that his machinery for oil. I can't remember the name, but while he was doing it, he got a call from a company, from his company actually, that his own company that he's working under has been bankrupt. That the manager used the money to invest it in stock market. So he was very very pissed off. He was very very pissed off. So he left that state that he was doing those research on, and came to another state where he was supposed to board a train back to his house. Now, while he was at that train station waiting for the train to come by, he kept his machinery one side, the machinery he used in checking the soil if there is actually oil beneath the ground. So while that machine was there, the machine was reading that there is a high content of oil underneath these rail tracks, like in that train area, that there is a lot of oil underneath it. But due to the fact that he was very, very angry because of what the information that was given to him, he said that he went into a negative state of mind that this machinery can't be true, to determine that there is oil deposit underneath this ground on a railway. So out of anger and frustration, he kicked the machine and threw it away. Do you know that after that thing happened, He went back to his hometown. Fast forward 2 to 3 years later, they discovered a large sum of oil from that same place that that man said that this machine can't be reading so much oil from a real track, that there's oil deposit here. Now, let's look at the other side. Had it been he was positive about everything and just leave that part of what had happened with his company and just see, focus on his research, even if the scene is showing that oil deposit there, did more research. And he was now the one that found that oil. His life would have changed, but to today, that man is still a poor man. So, what is the moral of this lesson? The moral of this lesson is that nothing in this life is ever easily achieved. If Jesus Christ Himself can actually pass through trials and tribulation, we human beings, we will eventually pass through more trials and tribulation. There is no escape. There is no escape, both for men, both for women. There is no escape. There's this verse of Bible that said in James chapter 12, verse 1. It said that, let me just go through the scriptures at once. Because I'm a firm believer in God, I'm a firm believer in nature. I'll just go through the passage here in the Bible. James. James chapter 1, verse 12, and it says, "Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to them that love him." What does this Bible mean? This Bible verse mean? It simply means, from my own understanding, it simply means that be you man or woman, you get tempted. You pass through this dark stage of your life. Trials and tribulations will actually come, but when you persist and survive through those trials and tribulations, you will receive the crown of life which God has promised unto those that love Him. So, what does it simply mean is that what I'm trying to see in all this lesson is that no matter what you're doing in this life or what you're actually chasing, you just have to believe. You have to believe that this thing you can actually get it, that it's possible, especially when you've seen people actually making it in that same field. You know, delay doesn't necessarily mean denial. Understand? So whatever you're doing, whatever you're chasing out of this life, you have to believe. That belief that you can get it and that it's possible, that's the only thing that will transcend everything. Because you believing in it when it has not really happened, you're actually putting out a positive frequency into the universe. Now, what the universe will do is that it will create circumstances, people, and conditions that will make that your dream and thought become a reality. So, whatever you're doing, always believe in yourself, believe in God, do the best, and leave the rest unto God. Thank you.